my name's Emma. I am a second-year medical student currently studying online in Sydney, Australia, and today I wanted to make a video talking about self-care. So before I start the video, I want to talk a little bit about my philosophy with self-care. I'm going to be sharing a list of things that work for me, some which you might kind of put in the category of soft or more restorative things that are pretty easy, sort of your typical go-to self-care things. And the other category for me for self-care are things that are a little bit harder to get started. If you like chemistry, you might say that they have a higher activation energy and that they really take work to do, but in the long run, they will benefit you. So I include those things in my self-care because I think it is really important that I focus on them. But I also make sure to include some of those lighter little touches and little treat yourself moments as well, because I think they're both really important. So throughout the video, if you see something colored like this, then it's going to be something that I think is a little bit softer, a little bit more restorative, pretty easy to do, and really, really helpful sort of short term. And then if you see something colored like this, it will be something that is a little bit more about the long-term gains. Sometimes it takes a lot of work to do, sometimes I don't want to do it at all, but I know in the long run, if I establish this as part of my routine, then it will benefit me. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is acts of kindness and helping people. This is definitely something that I think really, really rejuvenates me, whether that is when I was back home buying someone Tim Hortons and bringing it to them if I knew their order off by heart, holding a door open for someone, or just smiling at a stranger on the street.
Now, upon editing, I realized this sounds kind of creepy. I meant it totally in an innocent way, more like a, hi, how are you? I acknowledge your existence, kind of smile. Maybe this is just a Canadian thing, so maybe don't smile at people on the street if you think that's unwelcome. But yeah, I meant it totally not in a creepy way.
I think being nice and finding little ways throughout the day that you can sneak niceness in for the people around you really fuels my soul and just makes my heart happy. It's one of the reasons why I started this channel and why I keep active on my Instagram is I want to help other people. So people reaching out to me and asking me questions, I love responding and I genuinely feel better after I've done so. One thing with incorporating this as part of your self-care is make sure that you're not pouring from an empty cup. So if I'm having a really down day, I don't open my DMs on Instagram because I know I don't have the energy to put into that. Kind of takes a little bit of energy invested to get the reward back. Finding little bits of kindness that you can give to other people puts a little positivity out into the world, and I like to think I immediately get that positivity back just by feeling like I've done something good. The second thing, which I've already kind of hinted at, is go for a walk outside. Get your face in the sunshine with sunscreen on and enjoy it and soak it up. If you're somewhere where you're allowed to go out right now, take a daily walk, I really encourage you to do so. If you can't get out at daytime when the sun is out, then at least try to get out at some point during the day, maybe see the sunset or get out in the evening and just feel the wind and the fresh air. It can be really, really rejuvenating. And that leads to my second point very nicely, which is something that's a little bit harder, and that is exercise. Preferably exercise outside, and that's two birds with one stone. Exercise is something that I know everybody pushes as part of self-care and something that we should all do, but I don't mean that means you have to suddenly pick up daily HIIT workouts and you have to get buff, but doing something every day that gets your heart rate up. If that's walking the hills in your neighborhood and doing them with some force instead of leisurely, if that is going for a run, or if that's doing a HIIT workout at home in your apartment, you can make it work for yourself. But getting your heart rate up, it helps with your sleep, it helps with your general health and just your general fitness and well-being. And it's a really good thing to invest in yourself and keep going. And for me, I include it as part of my self-care routine. I try to move once a day, but do a really good heart rate up or strengthening yoga twice or every other day. So 3 or 4 times a week if I can. Have grace with yourself on the days that you can't. It's okay, but really try to make that commitment even though it's not as much fun as just going for a walk. Number 4 is investing time in a hobby or a passion project. Now, I don't mean to say because you're suddenly studying at home that you have all of this extra time. I mean that you should carve out some time to do the things you love. So that could be reading, it could be painting, it could be something you've always wanted to try to do. You want to learn how to code in Python.
If you want to learn how to code in Java, if you want to learn how to code in HTML, if you want to learn how to code in C++, if you want to learn how to code in C#.
Do it. But carve out some time, whether that's an hour on the weekends or half hour every day, that you can invest in something that truly lights your soul on fire and makes you excited. Do it. It doesn't have to be these things that we think are productive or a side hustle. Just do it because you love to do it and it's something that you've always wanted to try. Or something that you've done before and you want to pick back up. I've started doing embroidery. Is that going to go anywhere? Probably not. But it is something that lets me just invest in me and do something that I really enjoy doing. And speaking of investing in you, number 5 is do something that makes you feel pretty for you. So whether that is painting your nails, like I like to do as a procrastination study technique, and it makes me feel very pretty. Boys, don't worry, you can get in on the pretty too. If that's doing your hair or cutting your own hair during this time, or if that's wearing a full face of makeup to your Zoom meetings, or getting dressed in your favorite color or your favorite sweatshirt, or as long as it makes you proud to be in the skin that you're in, I'm here for it and you should do it. You don't need to do any of these pretty things for the rest of society, but if it makes you feel good, do that. Because if you wake up and you like to wear makeup and you put on a full face of makeup and that makes the rest of your day rocking, that's awesome. If you want to walk around with every color, nail a different color, if it makes you smile, then it's worth it and it's part of your self-care. So now we're going to venture into some of the thought side of things. So number 6 would be gratitude journaling. This is something that's pretty easy. I've started to try to incorporate it every evening. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for in that day. Can be something as silly as I am grateful for my cat, which is probably every day, or something as simple as I am grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful for my health. I am happy just to be in bed right now. I'm grateful that the day is over. Those all count. And it's nice, takes 10-15 minutes max, or it can take longer if I want it to, just to sit and reflect on the good things that happened that day or the good things that are happening in my life right now. It brings a little bit of positivity and it ends the day on a good note. You could also start your morning with gratitude journaling, and that kind of kicks your day off on a good note, or use it in the middle of the day when you want a little pick-me-up. Speaking of getting into our thoughts a little bit, number 7 is doing a thought record. Now this is a technique that I believe is based in CBT. It's a tool that one of my friends have shared with me, and I really like it for when I'm feeling particularly anxious. So it's not something that I use all the time, not even weekly, but when I'm at peak moments where my mind is kind of spiraling and it's going down all of these shoulda, woulda, coulda, will happen, might happen, is going to happen to me kind of thoughts, then I sit down and use a thought record. I'll link a document below that explains it a bit better, but it basically helps you dissect your thoughts and sit down and reflect on how those thoughts actually relate to reality and how concrete those thoughts actually are, or where those thoughts are actually just based in. It forces you to think critically about your anxious thoughts that are spinning around, and for me it really helps, but it is definitely not an easy thing to do, but it is a great tool to have in your wheelhouse for those days that are particularly low or you particularly need to invest in some self-care. Now that we've done some stuff for ourselves and we've done some thinking for ourselves, it's time to reach out. So number 8 is just reach out and chat with a friend. Call your mom, I bring that up as every example, or call a friend and just have a nice chat. I think sometimes we think self-care is all about our inward selves and what we're doing for us, but we forget that we can involve others in that care of ourselves. And that leads me very nicely to point 9, which is reaching out and asking for help. So not only can you reach out when you're feeling great for your self-care, but it's very important, hard to do, but important to reach out when you need help. Because if you don't ask for the support around you, people may not know that they need to rally with you. It can be very hard to admit that you're having a hard time, but I definitely encourage you to know or keep a few people in your back pocket that you can ask for help when you need it. And whether that's just, hey, I'm feeling really sad today, can we chat? Or can I just call you up and just kind of sit with you on the phone? Or can we work through these thoughts that I'm having? It's much better when you're not facing something alone. And number 10, which is something that is definitely not easy, is therapy. And I'm a little bit hypocritical recommending this because I haven't fully explored it myself, but I know there are benefits. I know not everybody has the privilege in time, access, finances, insurance to go to therapy, but if you have access to it, if you're a student and you can access it through your school or you have it covered under your health insurance, I definitely suggest you go try it out. I think we invest in ourselves and our physical health. We all understand that we have to do yearly checkups at the GP and we have to follow up with them, but we neglect our mental health and our mental well-being. And I think it is just as important to have a professional on board with us and on our team to help us with that. Whether that is processing things in a really tough time, giving you tools for the future when you're doing really well, but you want to make sure that you continue to do well, or just having someone to help you talk out your thoughts and kind of tease them out and understand them a bit better. I think even if you think you're doing amazing and you are doing amazing, it can still be worth it to check in with a psychologist, a therapist, or a counselor if you can. And I'm actually including a bonus one in this video. So tip number 11, have a bath. Age-old self-care, treat yourself moment is a bubble bath with a Lush bath bomb. But in all seriousness, I do think baths are great. I think for me, I like them because they're a quiet time with myself. I can't really bring my phone into it, so I can't be scrolling on Instagram. I can't be messaging people. It's just me, myself, and I, and some nice smelling bubbles. But if baths aren't your style, or you unfortunately don't have a bathtub, finding other moments of silence with yourself. So whether that's when you're walking out on your daily walk to get the sunshine, putting your phone in your pocket, maybe listening to music or something, but really connecting with you instead of engaging with the external world. It doesn't have to be surrounded by beautiful essential oils and floral scents. Just try to think and reflect on yourself. When do I feel comfortable being with just me, and how can I fit that into my routine more often? So those are 10 things, both easier and harder, that I do, or I'm trying to do, or I want to do in the future for my self-care. Make sure you comment below something that you do in your routine. I really like trying new things that help me connect with me and help me feel a little bit better. Give this video a like if you like it, and share it with anybody who you think might benefit, and make sure you subscribe to check out my videos in the future, and so you stay up to date when I do live study with me's or chit chats and all those other things. Thank you for watching. I really love it when anybody watches my videos and when we can have a conversation down below, and I will see you in the next one.